This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
Prime Minister James Marape officiates Edevu Hydropower project. PNG think tank highlights economic issues in the country. And Indian resident celebrates India's New Year Day. A very good evening. You're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. PNG Hydro Development Limited has launched the Edevu Hydropower Reservoir impoundment ceremony on Friday, the 21st of April 2023 at Edevu Village, Brown River, Central Province. This event marked a significant one for the people of Edevu and Central Province as a whole. This was the ceremony of the Edevu Hydropower Reservoir impoundment, a project that took almost 14 years to reach its completion stage. Prime Minister James Marape gave his address.
In pursuit of development in the power sector, we want our country by 2030, 70% of our country must have accessibility to cheap, reliable, and should I add, green energy to our country.
Chinese ambassador to PNG, His Excellency Zhang Fanhua, explained on the significance of this project.
The Edevu hydropower plant, this project adopts a model of purely commercial investment and operation without any state or government loans or support, demonstrating China's enterprises' confidence in PNG's long-term development and investment environment. The operation of the hydropower plant will bring very positive economic and social benefits to this country.
Minister for State Enterprises William Duma commended the PNG Hydro Development Limited and the landowners' partnership in pulling off this project without the help of the government.
As a means of finish, he got the opportunity to have water, no power. We stand ready to talk under the direction of our Prime and leadership of Prime Minister James Marape.
Provincial Governor Rufina Peter gave her remarks.
It's an epitome of translating an investment idea into reality. Through sheer hard work, commitment, sacrifice, and confidence in your ability.
Managing Director of the PNG Hydro Development, Alan Guo, spoke on the journey of the project.
You imagine how can a business trust just landowner, that's all. Only landowner will make this one, landowner us. And government side, we tried to get state guarantee, but it's not available. So I was lucky to meet Mr. Low, who came on board, and then we continued. And then we used every coins to try to finish this project. Today, as you can see, the project is complete.
Initially, he started the project with 650 million kina. He acknowledged the support from Prime Minister James Marape and former Prime Minister Peter O'Neill for assistance where need be.
We may invest for this big dam, 650 million, but without this transmission line, power cannot go to Mosby. So, because of some changes, and the PNG power will go through changes, and we didn't get traction. But when Prime Minister first time came now, I told you he was surprised. And from his heart, he supported this project. And he can read very quickly what is good for the country.
Acting Board Chairman and CEO of PNG think tank Samson Komati says the major A-list issues that are currently of high concern in the country are inflation, forex issues, unemployment, law and order, and corruption. He said if the country is to run smoothly, these are the 4 areas that the national government should focus its attention on.
Some of the major problems currently faced by Papua New Guineans in the country, according to CEO of PNG think tank Samson Komati, he believes the government should focus on right now are
the forex issue. Second biggest problem we are facing in this country is inflation. And then the fourth is law and order. Law and order includes corruption. Corruption comes under law and order. And then fourth biggest issue in PNG now is unemployment.
As he explains the challenges the country is going through, from challenges like the high inflation on goods and services to imports to law and order issues and corruption, said if these areas are addressed by the national government moving forward, things could be different for the betterment of the country and its people.
All these are economic problems, and then it also affects the social life of everyone, and all are intertwined. You can't address them separately. You have to see how it can be addressed both in the macro economic level by the politicians, the central bank, and the government through government policy, fiscal policy, and then the central bank through monetary policy.
He described these issues as A-list issues, where it is affecting a lot of businesses that are heavily dependent on imports. He said PNG is heavily reliant on imports, where exports of the country's raw materials are sent overseas. He further stated that while much of the attention is on the non-renewable sector, agriculture is the way forward if the country is to grow its economy. He said coffee, cocoa, rubber, vanilla and other commodities should be given the most needed support and attention, and for the country to dive into downstream processing of coffee and other commodities.
The government is focused, most of the time the government is focused on the extractive industries, especially the non-renewable sector like gold, oil, gas, copper and all that. But the focus should be on to address these four big issues that I was talking about. Shift the focus of the government from extractive industries, non-renewable resources, into renewable resources like agriculture, marine, fisheries, forestry, and tourism.
Mr. Komate also highlighted that law and order and corruption in the country has increased, one that the government should give more attention to. He said if the government can fix the law and order issues and corruption plus inflation, unemployment and fix the current foreign exchange issues, these economic challenges will not affect Papua New Guineans if the government prioritizes these areas and help solve the problems which are currently faced in the country today. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, acting board chairman and CEO of PNG think tank Samson Komati, in an interview with EMTV News, highlighted that the government needs to look seriously into providing employment to match the number of young graduates of various higher education institutions. He said employment is a huge challenge that needs attention.
One of the biggest problems faced by Papua New Guineans in the country is the lack of employment. Today, employment remains one of the major concerns. According to the acting board chairman and the CEO for think tank Samson Komati, is calling on the national government to focus on providing jobs for Papua New Guineans, particularly the university graduates and other educational institutions.
Our economy is basically, an injustice to all the youthful young people coming out of technical schools, TVET colleges, teachers' colleges, and universities from overseas and within. The grim reality is there is no jobs for you young people in this country. There's no jobs. The only option is you get your degree, go back home and create your own jobs, which means go into SMEs, find something to do, use your brains to create something to make a living.
He said it is very clear that jobs these days are hard to come by, giving an example to the recent mass recruitment of the police.
The police application was, to join the police force, the police department asked for applications. They received over 50,000 applications for 500 people. 500 positions were vacant, but 50,000 applications turned up. That shows the immensity of the population. It's out there, it's looking for jobs. We have university graduates that graduated 5 years ago. They are still on the streets looking for jobs that will match their degrees. So we have degree holders who are driving taxi, who are becoming security guards, who are just becoming bus drivers because there's no jobs.
He said many university students are roaming around the streets looking for jobs and not working in fields they have studied. Why? Because we need to make money to support our families. He said while the government is more focused on the extractive industries, agriculture is the way forward to build the country's economy. He encouraged those that have a degree to start planning and running their own businesses and not to wait for government support.
The employment issue can be cut off when government shifts focus into agriculture, forestry, marine, fisheries, and livestock. When more people are employed, more people pay taxes, more export happens. In each of these, commodities like coffee, tea, rubber, cocoa, once we export a lot every year, when the production increases, the volume of export increases, the more dollars come in. It strengthens the kina. It saves the foreign exchange problem we have. And so the country will be okay.
Komate is hoping that moving forward, the national government will step forward to combat the ever-increasing number of unemployment. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru says the Special Economic Zone Summit, which will be held in Port Moresby next month, is a way forward for PNG to tap into vast industrial activities in the near future. He says the summit is a first of its kind since independence to help develop the country.
Prime Minister James Marape will officially open the Special Economic Zone Summit on the 7th of May 2023 at the Stanley Hotel. Minister Richard Maru says if this summit is done well, it will boost the economy of the country. He says recommendations, policy framework and master plan will be submitted to the national government to support with economic activities to start off with, adding the outcome of this summit will determine at least 4 top economic activities to start this year. He says the end of registration for those who want to attend this summit is 28th of May. This is because the organizing committee members will draft the master plan for those who will be attending for their input and comments. Each district and province is advised that there will be no late registration. So far, over 300 people have registered to attend this summit. Meanwhile, the Minister for International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru, says Gulf Province has the major potential to do downstream processing of gas.
Don't get cheap gas to process in the Gulf Province. If you continue to send all the gas out just to export to other countries, you will never you will never have the industries that Gulf Province needs, like the downstream processing of gas. We will produce fertilizer and other products, which will create thousands of jobs and totally change the Gulf Province. This is their opportunity.
He is encouraging the leaders of the province to work together with existing developers within the province to build wharf, road and airport. This will help boost the economic activities.
Total and the Papua LNG project to build an international wharf and an airport in the Gulf Province. These are critical infrastructures to make the economic zone viable and possible in EHU. If you don't have land, you don't have roads, if you don't have a wharf, you don't have an airport, you can't build a viable special economic zone.
Downstream processing can be done there to transform the province.
In the Gulf Province, because this will be critical to make the economic zone work. And on top of that, we need cheap gas. I know there is 5 to 6 stranded gas fields within the Gulf and Western Province that could be aggregated to start another project in the Gulf Province. Gulf has a potential to have another major gas project. But rather than selling gas, we should look at downstream processing. And I would really encourage that, because that's what's going to transform the Gulf Province, not just exporting of gas like we are doing today.
These infrastructures, once staged in Gulf Province, can help boost the special economic zone activities in the country. Jim John, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. The Farmers and Settlers Association, representing exporters, rural business and food processing industries, commended the Chief Secretary and the Business Council on establishing the Business to Government Forum. That is very critical for direct engagement from industry and society to the government.
The presentation recently on the 13-year budget plan on debt reduction strategy and balanced budget, emphasizing on no tax increase but on compliance and enforcement. The association, through President Wilson Thompson, acknowledges the work of IRC and PNG Customs and states that diversification of economy and increasing the tax base and achieving the revenue targets needs government to focus on commercial farming and plantation and agro-processing that can take on over 20,000 employment in the next 3 years' time. Thompson argued that the government has been granting exemption duty and GST and other tax exemptions to mining and oil and gas projects and questioned why the government has not considered tariff reduction and tax exemptions on large agriculture and downstreaming processing that is creating thousands of jobs and delivering profits and dividends in 2 to 3 years' time. He then acknowledged the government through Treasury to review all the non-IRC and customs fees and levies charged by all departments, agencies and commodity boards that is increasing production cost and forcing prices of goods and services to go up. He further added that employment and income earning opportunities will be created by shifting cost of living and fuel subsidies. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
The Indian community in Port Moresby turned up today at the Indian High Commission to observe their New Year celebrations, which is observed every year on April 14th in India.
Dances and singing was part of the celebrations today. Present at the mini celebration, the Indian High Commissioner to Papua New Guinea, Sri Imbesaka, said India's New Year is celebrated according to the solar calendar.
In India, we go by what you call the thing called solar calendar. The solar calendar starts for many parts of India. I would say in the north, there is a province called Punjab. The beginning of the solar calendar starts around the 14th of April.
The New Year falls on April 14th and is celebrated in all regions of India.
So, but in India, we follow the ancient traditions. So, this is the Indian New Year's Day. So, the southern part of India, as I told, in the north, in the southern part of India, they celebrate in a place in Kerala called Vishu, V-I-S-H-U, and in the Tamil Nadu, they call it the New Year's Day. So, this is the various parts of India celebrating one day.
Commissioner in Basaka said the importance of hosting the New Year celebration at the High Commission today is to bring in all Indians together in preparation for Indian Prime Minister's visit to Papua New Guinea.
But I'm also doing that because we also have a Prime Minister's visit in the May, in the 21st and 22nd of May, and this is an function. This occasion was organized to rejuvenate the Indian community.
The day ended with a tree planting to mark the day. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
Mandi Provincial Hospital in Southern Highlands Province is the second to have a kidney dialysis center apart from Port Moresby. The official opening of the facility was done on Friday at Mome Oval in Mandi.
Health Minister Dr. Lino Tom, along with local Mendi Munihu MP Rafael Tonpi, Health Secretary Dr. Liko Osborne, and other invited guests including Port Moresby General Hospital CEO Dr. Paki Molumi and provincial administration representatives from the neighboring Highlands provinces attended the event. The people of Mendi were told that lifestyle diseases are killing a lot of people. Therefore, consuming fresh garden produce is very important. Now with the kidney dialysis center in Mendi, local MP Rafael Tonpi also promised to have the CT scan machine bought by his predecessor Michael Nally to be up and running soon. During the event, it was also pointed out that the health services would boost economic activities in Mendi as outsiders travel in to access the services provided. Health Minister Dr. Lino Tom challenged the people of Mendi and Southern Highlands Province as a whole to take care of the facilities and people from other parts of the country who will be visiting Mendi for medical reasons.
Let me, on behalf of the Department of Health, on behalf of the Marape Rosso government, I think let me officially commission this kidney dialysis center at the Mendi General Hospital. I think the time is 3:06 on the 21st of April 2023.
Meanwhile, Marape Rosso government has been commended for the step taken to reduce the number of Papua New Guineans dying, as well as minimizing the need to seek medical help overseas. Kumul Petroleum Holdings has funded the facility and equipment, while PNG Kidney Foundation has also been appreciated for sourcing the appropriate equipment and trainings for the nurses and doctors in terms of kidney specialists. Natasha Ovoy, National, EMTV News.
The autonomous Bougainville government is happy with how the process is going to make them an independent nation, but there are challenges that are ahead. ABG Vice President and Minister for Commerce, Trade, Industry and Economic Development, Patrick Nisira, says they are happy with the political process, but one of their biggest challenges was to get the economy running.
ABG Vice President Patrick Nisira says they need projects to support their aspirations to be an independent country, and for the Panguna mine project, they are working on getting landowners to agree on reopening the mine, and the people of Panguna have agreed. He says by August, they should reissue exploration license for ELO1.
Under a local EMTV. So hopefully, I've had discussions with the President. By August, we should reissue exploration license for ELO1, which is the special mining activities area in Panguna.
He says at the moment there is a government-sanctioned process and impact assessment study being conducted by Bougainville Copper Limited and Rio Tinto.
So at the moment also there is a government sanctioned process, the impact assessment study being conducted by BCL and Rio at the moment to assess the impact, and then maybe make preparations later by way of compensating the people of Bougainville. Then we will give it.
Nisira says in his ministry, they are trying to develop industries in Bougainville and come up with new projects to generate income and provide employment opportunities for the people. And one of those important projects is the Bougainville Refinery project. They have partnered with a foreign company on a 60-40% deal to smelt gold.
So we hope that when it comes up and running, at least we provide jobs for our youth. The other important project that we're also working on is the Bougainville Refinery project, which we've entered into a partnership with a foreigner, which is 60-40, to smelt on the gold, produce on gold and smelt it.
He says they are hoping to get the gold refinery up and running by this year, with the aim to locally process all goods from the autonomous region of Bougainville. Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
The Minister for Higher Education and Sports, Don Pollier, strongly emphasized on transforming the traditional way of learning and teaching into digital, so to enable the nursing profession to maximize the benefits for patients' care. This is part of the strategic plan the Minister has for the digitalization of the higher education sector in PNG, which applies to nursing education.
Digital technologies have increasingly affected nursing globally. Examples include the growing presence of artificial intelligence and robotic systems, society reliance on mobile, the internet and social media, and increasing dependency on telehealth and other virtual models of care, particularly in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Minister Pollier, despite substantial advances to date, challenges in nursing's use of digital technology persist. A perennial concern is that nurses have generally not kept pace with rapid changes in digital technologies, and their impact on society thus limits the potential benefits they bring to nursing practice and patients' care. Pollier says to respond to these challenges and prepare for the future, in the strategic plan, nursing colleges must immediately transform into a digitally enabled profession that can respond to the complex global challenges facing health systems and society. Pollier added that the country needs to urgently create educational opportunities at undergraduate and graduate levels in informatics, digital health, co-design, implementation science, and data science. He said nursing education should evolve its competency and curriculums proactively for the increasing use of digital technologies. The nursing profession requires a cultural shift. Its membership and leadership must demand the evaluation of digital systems better to meet current and emerging needs. Nurses entering the profession today will undoubtedly witness substantive disruption and change from digital technology by the time they are mid-career. The minister added that without immediate action, the nursing profession stands to miss a remarkable opportunity to generate new roles, knowledge and relationship within future health system and societies centered by digital technologies. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. 5 young Papua New Guinean missionaries of the Society of Divine Word are taking up their missions abroad. These were 4 priests and a brother. They have taken their mission cross in a service last week, Sunday, the 16th of April, at St. Paul's Parish in Mount Hagen, Western Highlands Province. The largest international missionary congregation in the Catholic Church, PNG Society of Divine Word, or SVD, is proud to see 4 priests and a brother who will be serving their missions through administrating the gospel by pastoral programs and impacting the lives of others abroad. Also to showcase PNG's diverse culture, thus adding value to the internationality of the Society of Divine Word. Father Jerry Kurai is assigned to Chad in Central Africa, Father John Sine assigned for Argentina, Brother Rafael Goimba's mission is in Zambia, Africa, Father Rex Andrew to Kenya, Africa, and Father John Hall is bound for Philippines. These missionaries were blessed and bestowed with the Mission Cross, allowing them to be of service to the people and communities they will be working with in countries they're assigned to. On the commissioning, SVD Provincial Superior Father Jos Orathinkal said the giving of the Mission Cross is a practice that is carried down from the founder of SVD congregation, that the cross of Christ protects the missionaries from all harm, give hope and courage when the missionaries grow weary from toil. The 5 now adds up to a total of 14 Papua New Guinean SVD missionaries serving overseas. The local missionaries going abroad are assigned to 4 regions of the world: the Asia Pacific, Africa, Americas, and Europe. A total of 46 grade 12 students from Kopkop College and the Badihagwa Technical Secondary School in Port Moresby have received their certificates under Yumi Inc.'s Project Walk program for 2023. This program, which started last year, is aimed at helping students to prepare interview skills to support their transition from secondary school to tertiary studies or employment.
In a small but significant graduation ceremony held this afternoon, students were encouraged to continue to use their skills and knowledge gained from this training. The Project Walk 2023 program, sponsored by Credit Corporation and supported by IEA College of TAFE, hosted this program at their Ella Beach campus in Port Moresby. Project manager and facilitator Don Robinson says their aim is to train more students so that they can be able to contribute meaningfully to nation building in terms of their future careers, respectively.
Training for students so that they can understand what it takes to write a compelling resume and how to read a job advertisement, and then how to write a good application letter, as well as how to prepare themselves for interview. And then we go through an exercise where they do some mock interviews, so they get the opportunity to have the experience of being interviewed for a role.
She explains that basic training is a way forward to upskill students.
But this is one small way that we think that we can help to address the unemployment issues in the youth in Papua New Guinea.
Secondary school principal of Kopkop College in Port Moresby says that her students are grateful to attend Project Yumi Inc.'s Project Walk program to learn and practice resume writing and to gain skills for job interviews.
What I see with Project Walk is that it's a bonus for their CV. The students are excited, just as I am excited with this project. Very beneficial for the students because they're gaining a lot in confidence, knowing how to write a CV, knowing how to put together a lot of application.
Former grade 12 student of Kopkop College, Martin Grayben, is one of the proud recipients of the project in today's graduation and says his experience.
When I attended back in October last year, I had no idea of writing a proper resume or how to apply for a permanent role. So after I attended the 2-week program, it really helped me in knowing how to write a proper resume and an application letter, and it also boosted my confidence in applying for a permanent job.
Project Yumi Inc., an Australian and PNG registered organization, is expanding the reach of youth empowerment initiative by introducing community-based programs. Project manager and facilitator Don Robinson says building sustainable skills is important as it will help students to create foundations they need to build a successful future. Jim John, National EMTV News.
Moving to overseas news now, and ex-service women in Australia are calling for more support services for them.
Women now make up almost 20% of Australia's armed forces, but some say they don't always receive the same recognition as their male counterparts. Services that cater specifically to female veterans are either sporadic or non-existent in many parts of the country. Natalie Sankey is a Navy veteran and the National Coordinator of the Women Veterans Network of Australia. She says there's a number of things affecting the access of support for female veterans.
The Australian government has passed a budget to target groups sending fake text messages.
Registry will block cyber criminals imitating trusted agencies such as Australia Post and the Australian Tax Office. A similar system is currently being trialled in the UK and Singapore. Australians lost an estimated $3.1 billion to scam attacks in the last year, with almost half of all Australians being scammed, deceived or exposed to fake messages. Communications Minister Michelle Rowland says the initiative will use cutting-edge technology.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Port Moresby Soccer Association is 3 weeks into its ARA Cup pre-season tournament. Remarkable performances have been foreseen during the past 3 weeks as the tournament looks to enter its finals next weekend.
Today witnessed a total of 4 tough matches competed at the Bicini Soccer Field, where in Game 2 saw a confrontation between the Blue Cumuls FC and the Solomon United FC at midday. As the Solomons look to make an impression in the ARA Cup, the Blue Cumuls are on par as one of the premiers in the PMSA ladder pin. Alluding to that was PMSA Competition Committee official Joe Ame, who also elaborated on the clubs that are currently dominating the tournament.
In the 3 weeks, the competition was good. We have lower division, giving hard times with our premier teams. So within that 3 weeks, we have slotted teams around 8 pools. So we have a couple of lower divisions coming up. Okay, currently, we have the teams that have qualified this weekend. We have Blue Cumuls, we have Sedla University, and then Solomon United.
Ame further added that next week we'll see the finals where top teams will vie for the ARA Cup preseason playoff.
This week will be four games being played today, and then by next week we should have 2 games on Saturday, and then we have finals on the Sunday. Yeah.
As per Ame's statement, the Port Moresby Soccer Association season proper commencement will be announced at a later date after the PMSA annual general meeting is supposedly anticipated to take place by the end of this month. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
A tough contest this afternoon between the PRK Gulf ISO and CPG Central Dabaris saw the ISOs go down to the Dabaris outfit at 14 points to 12 at the Santos National Football Stadium.
The CPG Central Dabaris have registered their first ever win in the Premier National Rugby League competition, where they outplayed the PRK Gulf ISO this afternoon by 14 points to 12 at full time. With this win, the CPG-sponsored Edge will now work on their key areas of improvement in preparation for round 3 next weekend, where they will meet the Kimber Cutters in their second away match. Meanwhile, the main game was between the defending premiers, the Croton Hella Wigmen, and the EPG Enga Miox, where the Miox outfit proved to be the dominant side, taking the win with 14 points to 11 at the final huta. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Today marks the last and final day of the National Boxing Championships, and the tournament wind down on a high note at the Sejonggai Stadium. A total of 18 bouts were played all throughout the day, with the presentation expected to take place tonight. Of the 18 boxing clubs, National Boxing Rep John Ume says he is adamant of taking part in this event.
The day commenced with 9 bouts in the lightweight division when National Boxing Rep John Ume competed in the 5th bout. John Ume, who has appeared in 3 bouts during this 3 days long tournament, highlighted his experiences leading up to today.
So far, I got a boxers when we go against him, like they're tough. But this one, the last fight one, he's really tough and he's really good because I'm ready game to make 2 fights. And badminton, I'll prepare for him for next one.
Ume further went on to add on some of his new attacking tactic to which he has embarked on during this tournament.
Previous games when we go on them, like I go head on head and then I usually get injured. I don't complete rounds, I usually get injured like lies. So this fight, I decided to stop fights, like stop them all, don't continue anymore. So let me just make it short and sharp. Continue going to the international level as well. So me applying here, I'm going to apply it in the international level as well.
Ume says he has given his best all throughout the tournament with his new attacking technique, and he looks forward to taking it onto the international level, where he has already secured a spot for Team PNG ahead of the Solomon Islands Pacific Games come November. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
Looking at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours, in southern region, Port Moresby City, few afternoon evening showers and thunderstorms becoming fine tonight. Popondetta, occasional showers and thunderstorms tonight. In Momase region, Ley City, partly cloudy with few showers tonight. Vanimo, few showers and thunderstorms tonight. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau and Buka, cloudy with frequent showers and thunderstorms. In the Highlands region, all centers, afternoon, evening showers and thunderstorms easing tonight.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Sunday, the 23rd of April 2023. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.